update. Sorry about the last
Okay.
video. I stopped so abruptly. Okay, so this is 1 Samuel 6 and
17.
17. Okay. And these are the gold tumors which the Pelethites returned as a guilt offering to Yahweh, one for Ashdod, one for Azah, one for Ashkelon, one for Gath, one for Ekron. And the gold rats by the number of all the cities of the Pelethites belonging to the 5 princes, both walled cities and country villages, even as far as the great meadow on which they placed the ark of Yahweh, are to this day in the field of Yahoshua of Bethshemesh. And he smote along the men of Bethshemesh, for they had looked into the ark of Yahweh. They smote among the people. They smote among the men of Bethshemesh, for they had looked into the ark of Yahweh. They smote among the people 70 men, and the people mourned because Yahweh smote among the people a great smiting. And the men of Bethshemesh said, who is able to stand before the Kadosh Yahweh Elohim? And to whom shall he go from us? And they sent messengers to the inhabitants of Kiriath Jearim, saying, the Peshtelites have brought back the ark of Yahweh. Come down, take it up to you. 7. And the men of Kiriath Jearim came and took the ark of Yahweh and brought it into the house of Abinadab on the hill, and Kadosh Eleazar his son to guard the ark of Yahweh. And it came to be from the day that the ark remained in Kiriath Jearim that the time increased. It came to be 20 years, and all the house of Israel lamented after Yahweh. And Samuel spoke to all the house of Israel, saying, if you return to Yahweh with all your hearts, then put away the foreign mighty ones and Ashtaroth from among you, and prepare your hearts for Yahweh to serve him only, so that he delivers you from the hand of the Pelethites. The children of Israel put away the Baals and Ashtaroth and served Yahweh only. And Samuel said, gather all Israel to Mizpah, and let me pray to Yahweh for you. And they gathered to Mizpah, and drew water, and poured it out before Yahweh. And they fasted that day, and said there, we have sinned against Yahweh. And Samuel rightly ruled the children of Israel at Mizpah. And when the Pelethites heard that the children of Israel had gathered together at the Mizpah, the princes of the Pelethites went up against Israel. And the children of Israel heard of it, and were afraid of the Pelethites. And the children of Israel said to Samuel, do not cease to cry out to Yahweh our Elohim for us, that he would save us from the hand of the Pelethites. And Samuel took a suckling lamb and offered it as a burnt offering completely to Yahweh. And Samuel cried out to Yahweh for Israel, and Yahweh answered him. And it came to be as Samuel answered, it came to be as Samuel offered up the burnt offering, the Pelethites grew near to battle against Israel. But Yahweh thundered with a great noise on that day on the Pelethites and troubled them, and they were smitten before Israel. And the men of Israel went out from Mizpah and pursued the Pelethites and smote them as below Bethkar. And Samuel took a stone and put it up between Mizpah and Shen, and called its name Ebenezer, saying, thus far Yahweh has helped us. Thus the Pelethites were humbled, and no longer came into the border of Israel. And the hand of Yahweh was against the Pelethites all the days of Samuel. And the cities which the Pelethites had taken from Israel were returned to Israel from Ekron to Gath. And Israel recovered its border from the hands of the Pelethites. And there was peace between Israel and the Amorites. And Samuel rightly ruled Israel all the days of his life. And each year he made the rounds of Bethel and Gilgal and Mizpah, and rightly ruled Israel in all those places. Then he returned to Ramah, for his home was there, and there he rightly ruled Israel, and there he built an altar to Yahweh.
Chapter 8. And it came to be when Samuel was old, that he made his sons rulers over Yasharel. And the name of his firstborn was Yoel or Joel, I guess, and the name of his second Abiah, rulers in Beersheba. But his sons did not walk in his ways, and turned aside after own gain, and took bribes, and twisted right ruling. And all the elders of Yasharel gathered together and came to Shemuel or Samuel at Ramah, and said to him, Look, you are old, and your sons do not walk in your ways. Now appoint for us a sovereign to rule us like all the nations. But the word was evil in the eyes of Samuel when they said, Give us a sovereign to rule us. So Samuel prayed to Yahweh. And Yahweh said to Samuel, Listen to the voice of the people and all that they say to you, for they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me from reigning over them, according to all the works which they have done since the day that I brought them up out of Mitzrayim, even to this day, forsaking me and serving other mighty ones. So they are doing to you too. And now listen to their voice, but you shall certainly warn them, and shall make known to them the ruling of the sovereign who rules over them. And Samuel spoke all the words of Yahweh to the people who asked him for a sovereign, and said, This is the ruling of the sovereign who rules over you. He shall take your sons and appoint them for his own chariots, and to be his horsemen, and they shall run before his chariots, and appoint commanders over his thousands, and commanders over his fifties, or to plow his ground and reap his harvest, or to make his weapons and equipment for his chariots. And your daughters he is going to take to be perfumers and cooks and bakers. And the best of your field and your vineyards and your olive trees he is going to take and give them to his servants. And a tenth of your grain and your vintage he is going to take and give it to his officers and servants, and your male servants and your female servants, and your best young men and your donkeys he's going to take and use for his own work. A tenth of your sheep he is going to take, and you are to be his servants. And you shall cry out in the day because of your sovereign, whom you have chosen for yourselves. But Yahweh is not going to answer you in that day. However, the people refused to listen to the voice of Samuel and said, No, but let a sovereign be over us. Wow. Then we shall be, we also, like all the nations, and our sovereign shall rule us and go out before us and fight our battles. And Samuel heard all the words of the people, and he repeated them in the hearing of Yahweh. And Yahweh said to Samuel, Listen to their voice and make them a sovereign. And Samuel said to the men of Yasharel, Each of you go to his city. Chapter 9. And there was a man of Benjamin whose name was Kish, son of Abiel, son of Saror, son of Bechorath, son of Aphiah, a Benjamite, a mighty man of power. And he had a son whose name was Saul. Okay, Saul, young and handsome, and there was not a more handsome man than he among the children of Yasharel, taller than any of the people by the shoulders and upwards. And the donkeys of Kish, father of Saul, were lost. And Kish said to his son Saul, Please take one of the servants with you and arise. Go seek the donkeys. And he passed through the mountains of Ephraim and through the land of Shalisha, but they did not find them. Then they passed through the land of Shalem, but they were not. Then they passed through the land of the Benjamites, but they did not find them. They came to the land of Suph, and Saul said to his servant who was with him, Come, let us turn back, lest my father forgets about the donkeys and becomes worried about us. And he said to him, See, there is in this city a man of Elohim, and the man is esteemed. All that he says comes true without fail. Now let us go there. It could be that he shows us the way to go. And Saul said to his servant, But look, if we go, what do we bring the man? For the bread in our bags is all gone, and there is no present to bring to the man of Elohim. What do we have? And the servant answered Saul again and said, Look, I have here at hand 1/4 of a shekel of silver, and I shall give that to the man of Elohim, and he shall make known to us his our way. Formerly in Yasharal, when a man went to inquire of Elohim, he spoke thus: Come, let us go to the seer. Hmm. For the Nabi of today was formerly called a seer. Okay. And Saul said to his servant, Your word is good. Come, let us go. And they went to the city where the man of Elohim was. And as they went up the hill to the city, they met some young women going out to draw water and said to them, Is the seer here? And they answered them and said, He is. Look ahead of you. Hurry now, for he came to the city today, for the people have an offering on the high place today. As you come into the city, you are going to find him before he goes up to the high place to eat. For the people do not eat until he comes, for he brought the slaughterings. Afterward, they would afterward they who are invited eat. And now go up, for you should find him about this time. And they went up to the city. They were coming into the midst of the city and saw Samuel coming out toward them to go up to the high place. And Yahweh had revealed to Samuel in his ear the day before Saul came, saying, At this time tomorrow I shall send you a man from the land of Benjamin, and you shall anoint him leader over my people, Yasharel, and he shall save my people from the hand of the Pelishites. For I have seen my people, because their cry has come to me. And when Samuel saw Yahuwah said to him, See the man of whom I spoke to you. Let this one govern my people. And Saul drew near to Samuel in the gate and said, Please inform me, where is the house of the seer? And Samuel answered Saul and said, I am the seer. Go up before me to the high place, for you shall eat with me today, and tomorrow I shall let you go and make known to you all that is in your heart. As for your donkeys that were lost 3 days ago, do not lay your heart on them, for they have been found, and on whom is all the desire of Yasharel. Is it not on you and on all your father's house? And Saul answered and said, Am I not a Benjamite of the smallest of the tribes of Yasharel, and my clan the least of all the clans of the tribe of Benjamin? Why then do you speak like this to me? And Samuel took Saul and his servant and brought them into the hall and gave them a place at the head of those who were invited. And there were about 30 men. And Samuel said to the cook, Bring the portion which I gave you, of which I told you to put it aside. And the cook brought out the thigh with its upper part and put it before Saul. And Samuel said, See, what was kept back, it was put aside for you. Eat, for it has been kept for you for this appointed time, saying, I have invited the people. And Saul ate with Samuel on that day. And they came down from the high place into the city, and Samuel spoke with Saul on the roof. And they rose early. And it came to be about the dawning of the day that Samuel called to Saul on the roof, saying, Rise, so that I send you on your way. And Saul rose, and both of them went outside, he and Samuel, and they were walking toward the edge of the city. As they were walking toward the edge of the city, Samuel said to Saul, Say to the servant to go on ahead of us. And he went on. But you stand here a moment so that I let you hear the word of Elohim. Okay, I'm going to pause it there because I had some. Chapter 10. Ah, okay, chapter 10. And Shemuel took a flask of oil and poured it on his head and kissed him and said, is it not because Yah has appointed you leader over his inheritance? When you leave me today, you shall find two men by Rahel's tomb in the border of Benjamin at Sotsa, and they shall say to you, the donkeys which you went to look for have been found. And see, your father has left the matters of the donkeys is worrying about you, saying, what shall I do for my son? And you shall pass on from there and beyond, and shall come to the terebinth tree of Tabor. And three men going up to Elohim at Bethel shall find you there, one bearing three young goats, another bearing 3 loaves of bread, and another bearing a skin of wine. And they shall greet you and give you 2 loaves of bread, which you shall accept from their hand. After that, go to the hill of Elohim where the Pelishite watch post is. And it shall be when you have come there to the city that you shall meet a group of Nabim coming down from the high place with string instrument and a tambourine and a flute and a lyre before them, and they nabba, and the ruah of Yah shall come upon you, and you shall nabba with them, and be turned into another man. And it shall be, when these things come to you, do for yourself as your hand finds to do, for Elohim is with you. And you shall go down before me to Gilgal, and see, I am coming down to you to slaughter burnt offerings and make peace offerings. Wait 7 days till I come to you. Then I shall make known to you what you should do. And it came to be, when he had turned his back to go from Shemuel, or Samuel, that Elohim gave him another heart. And all those signs came on that day. And they came there to the hill and saw a group of Nabi and met him, and the Ruah of Elohim came upon him, and he Nebu in their midst. And it came to be, all who knew him formerly looked and saw that he Nebu among the Nabim. So the people said to each other, what is this that has come upon the son of Kish? Is Saul also among the Nabim? And a man there answered and said, and who is their father? That is why it became a proverb. Is Saul also among the Nabim? And when he stopped Nabi, he went to the high place. And the uncle of Saul asked him and his servant, where did you go? And he said, to look for the donkeys. And when we saw that they were nowhere to be found, we went to Samuel. And the uncle of Saul said, please inform me what Samuel said to you. And Saul said to his uncle, he informed us plainly that the donkeys had been found, but he did not disclose to him about the matter of the rain what Samuel had said. And Samuel called the people together to Yah at Mitzpah, and said to the children of Yasharel, thus said Yah, the Elohim of Yasharel, I have brought Yasharel up out of Mizraim and delivered you from the hand of the Mizrites and from the hand of all Rens and from those who oppressed you. And today you have rejected your Elohim, who himself saved you out of all your evils and your distresses. And you have said to him, no, but appoint a sovereign over us. And now present yourself before Yah, by your tribes and by your clans. And Samuel brought near all the tribes of Yasharel, and the tribe of Benjamin was taken. Then he brought near the tribe of Benjamin by their clans, and the clan of Matri was taken, and Saul, son of Kish, was taken. And when they sought him, he could not be found. And they asked again of Yah, has the man come here yet? And Yah answered, see, he has hidden by the baggage. And they ran and brought him from there. And he stood in the midst of the people and he was taller than any of the people, from his shoulders and upwards. And Samuel said to all the people, do you see him whom Yah has chosen? That there is no one like him among all the people. And all the people shouted and said, let the sovereign live. And Samuel declared to the people the rulings of the reign and wrote it in a book and placed it before Yah. And Samuel sent all the people away, each to his house, and Saul went to his house too, to Gibeah, and with him went brave men whose hearts Elohim had touched. But the sons of Belial said, what does this one save us? And they despised him and brought him no presents. But he kept silent. And Nahash, chapter 11. And Nahash the Ammonite came up and camped against Yabesh Gilead. And all the men of Yabesh said to Nahash, make a covenant with us, and we shall serve you. Then Nahash the Ammonite answered them, for this I make a covenant with you, that I dig out all your right eyes, and I shall bring reproach on all Yisrael. And the elders of Yabesh said to him, leave us alone for 7 days, so that we send messengers to all the borders of Yasharel. And then, if there is no one to save us, we shall come out to you. And the messengers came to Gibeah of Saul and spoke the words in the hearing of the people. And all the people lifted up their voices and wept. And look, Saul was coming behind the herd from the field. And Saul said, why are the people weeping? And they related to him the words of the men of Yabesh. And the Ruah of Elohim came upon Saul mightily as he heard these words, and his displeasure burned greatly. And he took a yoke of cattle and cut them in pieces and sent them throughout all the border of Yasharel by the hands of messengers, saying, whoever does not go out with Saul and Samuel to battle, let this be done to his cattle. And the reverence of Yah fell on the people, and they came out as one man. And he mustered them in Bezek, and the children of Yasharel were 300,000, and the men of Yehuda 30,000. And they said to the messengers who came, say to this man of Yabesh Gilead, tomorrow by the time the sun is hot, you shall have help. Then the messengers came and informed the men of Yabesh, and they rejoiced. So the men of Yabesh said, tomorrow we come out to you, and you shall do to us whatever seems good to you. And it came to be on the next day that Saul put the people in 3 companies, and they came into the midst of the camp in the morning watch, and smote Ammon until the heat of the day. And it came to be that those left were scattered, so that no two of them were left together. And the people said to Samuel, who said, shall Saul reign over us? Bring bring the men so that we put them to death. And Saul said, no man is put to death this day, for today Yah has wrought deliverance in Yasharel. And Shemuel said to the people, come and let us go to Gilgal and renew the reign there. And all the people went to Gilgal, and there they appointed Saul to reign over Yah and Gilgal, and there they made slaughterings of peace offerings before Yah, and there Saul rejoiced, and all the men of Yasharel very very greatly. Okay, chapter 12. And Samuel said to all Yasharel, look, I have listened to your voice in all that you said to me, and have appointed a sovereign over you. And now look, the sovereign is walking before you, and I am old and great, and look, my sons are with you. And I have walked before you from my youth to this day. Look, here I am, witness against me before Yah and before his anointed. Whose ox have I taken, or whose donkey have I taken, or whom have I oppressed? Whom have I abused, or from whose hand have I received any bribe with which to blind my eyes? Then I restore it to you. And they said, you have not oppressed us or abused us, nor have you taken any from anyone's hand. So he said to them, Yah is witness against you, and his anointed is witness today, that you have found not in my hand. And they answered, He is witness. And Shemuel said to the people, it it is Yah who appointed Moshe and Aharon, and who brought your fathers up from the land of Mitzrayim. And now stand still, so that I judge you before Yah concerning all the righteous acts of Yah, which he did to you and your fathers. When Jacob had come to Mitzrayim, and your fathers cried out to Yah, then Yah sent Moshe and Aharon, who brought your fathers out of Mitzrayim, and made them dwell in this place. But they forgot Yah their Elohim, so he sold them into the hand of Sisera, commander of the army of Hepzer, and into the hand of the Pelishites, and into the hand of the sovereign of Moab. And they fought against them, and they cried out to Yah and said, We have sinned because we have forsaken Yah and served the Baals and Ashtoreth. And now deliver us from the hand of our enemies, and we serve you. And Yah sent Jerubbaal and Badan and Yiftah and Samuel, and delivered you out of the hand of your enemies round about, and you dwelt in safety. And when you saw that Nahash, sovereign of the children of Ammon, came against you, you said to me, No, but let a sovereign reign over us, when Yah your Elohim was your sovereign. And now here is the sovereign whom you have chosen, and whom you have asked, and set and see, Yah has appointed a sovereign over you. If you revere Yah and shall serve him and obey his voice, and not rebel against the command of Yah, then both you and the sovereign who reigns over you shall follow Yah your Elohim. But if you do not obey the voice of Yah and shall rebel against the command of Yah, then the hand of Yah shall be against you, as it was against your fathers. And now stand and see the great matter which Yah does before your eyes. Is today not the wheat harvest? Let me call to Yah, so he sends thunder and rain. Rain, know then and see that your evil is great, even which you have done in the eyes of Yah, and asking for yourselves a sovereign. And Samuel called to Yah, and Yah sent thunder and rain that day, and all the people greatly revealed Yah and Samuel. And all the people said to Samuel, Pray for your servants to Yah your Elohim, that we do not die, for we have added to all our sins by doing evil and asking for ourselves a sovereign. And Samuel said to the people, Do not fear, you have done all this evil. Only do not turn aside from following Yah, and you shall serve Yah with all your heart. And do not turn aside after worthlessness, which does not profit or deliver, for they are worthless. For Yah would not cast away his people for his great name's sake, seeing it has pleased Yah to make you his people. And also, as for me, far be it from me that I should sin against Yah in ceasing to pray for you. But I shall teach you the good and straight way. Only revere Yah, and you shall serve him in truth with all your heart. For consider what marvels he has done for you. But if you persist in doing evil, both you and your sovereign are consumed. Okay, chapter 13. Saul was years old when he began to reign. And when he reigned 2 years over Yasharel, Saul chose for himself 3,000 men of Yasharel, and 2,000 were with Saul in Michmash and in the mountains of Bethel, and 1,000 were with Jonathan of Gibeah of Benjamin. And the rest of the people he sent away, each to his tent. And Jonathan smote the watch posts of the Pelishites that was in Gibeah, and the Pelishites heard of it, and Saul blew the ram's horn throughout all the land, saying, Let the Ephraim hear. And all Yasharel heard the news that Saul had smitten a watchpost of the Pelishites, and also that Yasharel had become a stench to the Pelishites. And the people were summoned to Saul at Gilgal, and the Pelishites gathered to fight Yasharal 30,000 chariots and 6,000 horsemen, and people as numerous as the sand on the seashore. And they came up and camped at Michmash, east of Beth Awen. And the men of Yasharel saw that they were in trouble, for the people were distressed, and the people hid in caves and in thorny bushes and in rocks and in holes and in pits. And Abram passed over the Jordan to the land of Gad and Gilead, but Saul was still in Gilgal, and all the people followed him trembling, and he went for 7 days according to the appointments with Samuel. But Samuel did not come to Gilgal, and the people were scattered from him. And Saul said, "Bring a burnt offering and peace offerings here to me." And he offered the burnt offering, and it came to be as he had finished offering the burnt offering, look, Samuel came, and Saul went out to meet him to barak him. Then Samuel said, "What have you done?" And Saul said, "Because I saw that the people were scattered from me, and that you did not come within the days appointed, and that the Pelishites gathered at Michmash. So I said, the Pelishites are going to come down on me at Gilgal, and I have not appeased the face of Yah. So I felt compelled and offered a burnt offering." And Samuel said to Saul, "You have been foolish. You have not guarded the command of Yah your Elohim, which he commanded you. For now Yah would have established your reign over Yashrael forever. But now your reign is not going to stand. Yah shall seek for himself a man after his own heart, and Yah shall command him to be a leader over his people, because you have not guarded what Yah commanded you." And Samuel arose and went up from Gilgal to Gibeah of Benjamin, and Shael mustered the people who were present with him, about 600 men. And Shaul and Jonathan his son and the people who were present with them remained in Gibeah of Benjamin, while the Pelishites camped at Michmash. And from the camp of the Pelishites, raiders went out in 3 companies. The one company turned to the way that leads to Ophrah, to the land of Shael of Saul, and another company turned toward the way of Beth Horon, and another company turned toward the way of the border that overlooks the valley of Seboam, toward the wilderness. Now no blacksmiths could be found in all the land of Yashrael, for the Pelishites said, "Lest the Ibrim make swords and spears." And all Yashrael went down to the Pelishites, each one to sharpen his plowshare and his mattock and his axe and his sickle. And the charge was a pim for the plowshares and the mattocks and the forks and the axes, to appoint the goads. And it came to be on the day of battle that there was neither sword nor spear found in the hand of any of the people who were with Saul and Jonathan, but they were found with Saul and Jonathan his son. And the outposts of the Pelishites went out to the pass of Michmash. Okay, chapter 14. And it came to be one day that Jonathan, the son of Saul, said to the young man who bore his armor, "Come and let us go over to the outpost of the Pelishites, which is on the other side." But he did not inform his father. And Saul remained at the outskirt of Gibeah under the pomegranate tree at Migron, and the people who were with him were about 600 men. And Ahiah, son of Ahitub, Ichabod's brother, son of Phinehas, son of Eli, the Kohen of Yah in Shiloh, was wearing a shoulder garment, and the people did not know that Jonathan had gone. And between the passes by which Jonathan sought to go over to the outposts of the Pelethites, there was an edge of a rock on one side and an edge of a rock on the other side. And the names of one was Batsets and the name of the other Senah. And the one edge was on the north opposite Michmash and the other on the south opposite Gibeah. And Jonathan said to the young man who bore his armor, "Come and let us go over to the outposts of these uncircumcised. If so be Yah works for us, for there is no hindrance for Yah to save by many or by few." And his armor bearer said to him, "Do all that is in your heart, incline yourself. See, I am with you according to your hand." And Jonathan said, "See, we are passing over to the men and show ourselves to them. If they say this to us, 'Wait until we come to help,' then we shall stand still in our place and not go up to them. But if they say this, 'Come up to us,' then we shall go up, for Yah has given them into our hand, and this is the sum to us." Okay, and both of them disclosed themselves to the outposts of the Pelishites, and the Pelishites said, "See, the Ephraim are coming outside out of the holes where they have been hidden." And the men of the outposts called to Jonathan and his armor bearer and said, "Come up to us and let us teach you a lesson." Then Jonathan said to his armor bearer, Come up after me, for Yah has given them into the hand of Yasharel." And Jonathan climbed up on his hands and knees with his armor bearer after him, and they fell before Jonathan and his armor bearer, um, and was putting them to death behind him. And the first slaughter which Jonathan and his armor bearer made was about 20 men in about half a yoke furrowed field. And there was trembling in the camp, in the field, and among all the people. The outposts and the raiders also trembled, and the ground shook, and it became a trembling of Elohim. And the watchmen of Saul in Gibeah and of Benjamin looked and saw the crowd melting away, and they went here and there. And Saul said to the people who were with him, "Please inspect and see who has gone from us." So they inspected and saw that Jonathan and his armor bearer were missing. And Saul said to Ahiah, "Bring the ark of Elohim here," for the ark of Elohim was with the children of Yasharel on that day. And it came to be, while Saul talked to the Kohen, that the noise which was in the camp of the Pelishites went on, and and okay, and became a great nation. So Saul became So Saul said to the Kohen, "Withdraw your hand." And Saul was called, and all the people who were with him, and they went to the battle. And see, every man's sword was against his neighbor, a very great confusion. And the Ephraim who were with the Pelishites before that time, who went up with them into the camp, turned around, they too, to be with Yasharel, who were with Saul and Jonathan. Okay, and all the men of Yasharel who had hidden in the mountains of Ephraim heard that the Pelishites fled, and they also pursued them in the battle. Thus Yah saved Yasharel that day, and the battle passed over to Beth Awen. And the men of Yasharel were distressed that day, for Saul had placed the people under oath, saying, "Cursed be the man who eats food until evening, and I have taken revenge on my enemies." Therefore none of the people tasted food, and all the land came into the woods, and there was honey on the ground. And the people came into the woods and saw the honey dripping, but no one put his hand to his mouth, for the people revered the oath. But Jonathan had not heard that his father had taken an oath of the people, and he stretched out the end of the rod that was in his hand and dipped it in the honeycomb and put his hand to his mouth, and his eyes lit up. Then one of the people said, your father strictly took an oath of the people, saying, cursed be the man who eats food today. And the people were weary. And Jonathan said, my father has troubled the land. Now see how my eyes lit up when I tasted. Oops. Oh, I'm sorry. See, my when I tasted a little of this honey, how much better if the people had well eaten today of the spoil of their enemies which they found, for then would not the smiting among the Pelishites have been greater. And they smote the Pelishites that day from Michmash to Ayalon. So the people were very weary, and the people pounced on the spoil and took sheep and cattle and calves and slaughtered them on the ground, and the people ate with the blood. And they told Saul, saying, look, the people are sinning against Yah by eating with the blood. And he said, you have acted treacherously. Roll a large stone to me today. And Saul said, disperse among the people and say to them, each one bring his ox near to me, and each one his sheep, and you shall slaughter them and eat, and do not sin against Yah by eating with the blood. So every one of the people brought his ox with him that night and slaughtered it there. And Saul built an altar to Yah. It was the first altar he built to Yah. And Saul said, let us go down after the Pelishites by night and plundered them until the morning light, and not leave a man of them. And they said, do whatever seems good to you. But the Kohen said, let us draw near to Elohim here. And Saul asked of Elohim, shall I go down after the Pelishites? Do you give them into the hands of Yasharel? But he did not answer him that day. And Saul said, come over here, you and the chiefs of the people, and know and see what this sin was today. For as Yah lives, who saves Yasharel, thou, though it be in Jonathan my son, he shall certainly die. But no one among all the people answered him. And he said to all Yasharel, you be on one side, and my son Jonathan be on the other side. And the people said to Saul, do what seems good to you. Then Saul said to Yah, Elohim of Yasharel, give a perfect one. And Saul and Jonathan were taken, but the people escaped. And Saul said, cast between me, my son Jonathan, and me. And Jonathan was taken. And Saul then said to Jonathan, explain to me what you have done. And Jonathan explained to him and said, I only tasted a little honey with the end of the rod that was in my hand. See, let me die. And Saul answered, Elohim, do so and more also, for you shall certainly die, Jonathan. But the people said to Saul, should Jonathan die? Who has wrought this great deliverance in Yasharel? Far be it as Yah lives, let no not one of his head fall to the ground, for he has wrought with Elohim this day. Thus the people rescued Jonathan, and he did not die. And Saul returned from pursuing the Pelishites, and the Pelishites went to their own place. And Saul took the reign over Yasharel and fought against all his enemies round about, against Moab, and against the children of Ammon, and against Edom, and against the sovereigns of Zobah, and against the Pelishites. And wherever he turned, he caused trouble. And he gathered an army and smote the Amalekites and delivered Yasharel from the hands of those who plundered them. And the sons of Saul were Jonathan and Yishwi and Melchishua. And the names of his two daughters were these: the names of the firstborn Merab, and the name of the younger Michal. And the name of Saul's wife was Ahinoam, the daughter of Ahimaaz, and the name of the commander of his army was Abner, son of Ner, uncle of Saul. And Kish was the father of Saul, and Ner, the father of Abner, was the son of Abiel. And there was fierce fighting against the Pelishites all the days of Saul. And when Saul saw any mighty man or any brave man, he took him for himself. Okay, so we reached chapter 15. We completed chapter 14 in 1 Samuel or 1 Shemuel, and we will pick up at chapter 15 tomorrow. Thank you for joining me, Baraku. Blessings and shalom. See you tomorrow.